Is the Canadian dream fading away? This question is on the minds of many Canadians today. Once a land brimming with opportunity, Canada was a beacon of hope, a place where anyone, regardless of their background, could chase their dreams. But today, that dream seems to be slipping through our fingers. Why? Canada has always been a country where hard work led to success. From its bustling cities to its peaceful countryside, it's been a symbol of prosperity. The idea was simple. If you worked hard enough, you could live well. This promise attracted millions of people from around the world who sought a better life for themselves and their families. But today, that promise feels like a faded postcard from the past.
Because Canada is broken. Our kindness and generosity has given way to naivety and weakness.
The vibrant colors of the Canadian dream are now dimming, replaced by the harsh realities of rising costs, housing shortages, and growing inequality. It's becoming harder to make ends meet. The dream of homeownership, once a symbol of Canadian success, has turned into an unattainable fantasy for many. Let's talk about the cost of living. In September 2024, the average weekly earnings for Canadians hit $1,280, translating to an annual salary of approximately $66,575, a 5.2% increase compared to the same time last year. However, this increase is often outpaced by the rising costs of essential goods and services. For example, the Consumer Price Index, CPI, in Canada rose by 1.9% year over year in November 2024, showing a significant rise in the cost of everyday goods. Groceries, utilities, and gas are climbing daily, and families are struggling to keep up. How many of you have noticed a sudden spike in the price of everyday items? For many, these rising expenses leave them overwhelmed and stressed. And the housing market? It's even worse. In November 2024, the New Housing Price Index, NHPI, in Canada saw a slight increase of 0.1% month over month, reflecting the ongoing housing crisis. Prices have soared, making it nearly impossible for the average Canadian to afford a home. In fact, the national benchmark home price was $707,100 in November 2024, a significant increase compared to previous years. Even renting is becoming a burden. A recent survey by Rent Board Canada found that in some cities, rents have increased by up to 30% in the last 12 months. Families are being forced to choose between paying rent, buying food, and affording health care. These aren't not just statistics. These are real lives being disrupted. As we discuss financial pressures, mental health is a growing issue. A study from the Canadian Mental Health Association, CMHA, revealed that 1 in 5 Canadians experience mental health challenges, but the support they need is often inaccessible. While mental health funding accounts for only 6.3% of overall health budgets, studies suggest that it should be closer to 12%. The constant financial stress is leading to increasing levels of anxiety and depression. For many Canadians, the pressure to survive financially is overwhelming. The World Health Organization, WHO, has linked financial instability to poor mental health, and in Canada, this is a growing concern. But this isn't just about complaining, it's about confronting the reality. The Canadian dream is slipping away, and we need to face these challenges head on. Is Canada still the land of opportunity for everyone, or has it become a place where only the privileged few can succeed? Will future generations experience the same dreams that previous generations had? Homeownership, once a cornerstone of the Canadian identity, is now slipping beyond the reach of many. In 2024, housing starts in Edmonton grew by 67%, but despite this, prices continue to climb at an alarming rate, pushing homeownership further out of reach. Imagine receiving a letter saying your rent is increasing by a quarter of your paycheck. For many families, that's the reality. They are forced to choose between paying rent, buying food, and affording health care. These aren't just numbers. These are real lives being disrupted. Experts predict that by 2030, more than half of new families won't be able to afford a home. This isn't just about numbers, this is about a way of a life slipping away. The dream of owning a home is fading, replaced by the harsh reality of unaffordable rents and mortgages. But the problem isn't limited to just those struggling at the bottom. Even families with 2 paychecks aren't safe from the squeeze. Despite working harder than ever, wages haven't kept up with rising costs. A report from Statistics Canada found that average household income in Canada increased by just 2.8% from 2023 to 2024, but the cost of living has jumped by nearly 5%, creating an income gap. Teachers, nurses, and firefighters, the very people who keep our communities running, can't afford to live where they work. They're being priced out of the neighborhoods they serve, leading to longer commutes and added stress. Imagine that. The very people who care for us can't afford the cost of living in their own cities. For many, the rising cost of living has become a crushing burden. Childcare, healthcare, and transportation are all more expensive. Families are forced to make impossible choices. Imagine being a single parent working full-time, only to find that after paying rent and bills and groceries, there's almost nothing left for the essentials. For many Canadians, this is the harsh reality they face every day. And then there's the mental health toll. The constant pressure of simply trying to survive is affecting Canadians' mental health. Anxiety, stress, and depression are on the rise. And it's not just individuals who are suffering. Entire communities are feeling the strain. According to a study by the Canadian Public Health Agency, financial instability is linked to higher rates of mental health disorders. When people are struggling to meet basic needs, it impacts every part of society: our workplaces, our healthcare system, and our communities. Canada has long been proud of its commitment to immigration. Newcomers bring fresh energy, diversity, and strength to the country. But the housing crisis is making it harder for immigrants to settle here. Immigrants now represent about 21% of the Canadian population, and many face the same challenge as Canadians, struggling to find affordable housing, lacking credit history, and trying to secure jobs. If Canada wants to continue welcoming immigrants, it needs to address this crisis head-on. The economic squeeze isn't just about housing. Everything is getting more expensive. The cost of groceries, transportation, childcare, it's all climbing, but wages haven't kept up. A survey by the Retail Council of Canada found that 87% of Canadians are feeling the impact of rising grocery prices, which have increased by 7.4% over the last year. More and more Canadians are living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to afford even the basics. Young Canadians are bearing the brunt of this affordability crisis. They're graduating with huge student loans, entering a tough job market, and realizing they will never be able to afford a home. A report from the Bank of Montreal states that only 24% of Canadians under 35 believe they will be able to afford a home in the next 5 years. Many are putting off life decisions, marriage, kids, because they simply can't afford it. And this isn't just a problem for young people, it's a problem for all of us. When an entire generation is struggling, it affects our economy, our social safety net, and our future. So, can we fix this? The challenges we face are complex, and the road ahead isn't clear. But the need to address the issues undermining the Canadian dream is urgent. We need to rethink housing policies, invest in affordable childcare, address income inequality, and prioritize mental health. This isn't about politics. It's about right and wrong. It's wrong that in such a wealthy country so many people are struggling to afford the basics. The dream of a fair and prosperous Canada should still be possible. We need to create a country where everyone has a chance to succeed, no matter their income or background, a place where the homeownership is within reach, not just a fantasy, where mental health is taken seriously and every Canadian has access to the support they need. But for that to happen, something needs to change. It will take collective action, courage, and a commitment to the values that once defined this country. The question is, are we ready to confront these challenges and build a better future? The Canada we love is worth fighting for. We can hold on to the vision of a nation where this dream is still alive and where everyone has the opportunity to live a good life. Whether we can reclaim that dream depends on the actions we take today and the conversations we're willing to have about the future we want. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share it. We need more people to join this conversation. And drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know what you think about the Canadian dream and how we can rebuild it together. Thank you for watching. What kind of Canada do we want to build?